Here at QuantLabsNet.com. Today is, I believe it's the 28th, 29th, I don't know, April, Tuesday. I'm live streaming early tonight, half an hour early. Apologize to anyone who catches this late, but I'll gladly catch up at 7 o'clock to bring everybody up to date. So this week, in the last 9 days, let's say, or last stream I did, a lot of big developments. We've had, on the AI front, we've had OpenAI release ChatGPT 5.5 and then 5.5 Pro. We've also seen the newest release of DeepSeek 4. So let me talk about those for a second, then I'll get into the actual things of what's profiting as trading bots and strategies. Number one, the GPT 5.5 and Pro is very expensive, really expensive. I did put up on my long form on a post on my website, QuantLabsNet.com, to showcase the difference between what I have been using, Codex 5.3 and let's say 5.5 Pro. Big differences on price, performance, and so on. Also, I have looked at DeepSeek 4. DeepSeek 4 is no different than any of the other Chinese AI. Thank you very much, Mr. CNN. Welcome, as usual. Okay, so DeepSeek 4 is a failure. I mean, I think it was last week, I did a review on all the Chinese AI. Two updates now have come out. DeepSeek 4 fails like all the rest for whatever reason. From my understanding, DeepSeek have selectively chosen where they're going to make their server clusters available. They're running on Huawei Ascend processors as clusters. So they've limited the amount available, and they're only focusing on certain endpoints as a priority. And the priority from within the U.S., from what I'm seeing, is the latest in NVIDIA as part of the testing. So that's their priority, where people shouldn't have any problems if they were to use the NVIDIA testing through their modeling, I guess, provided through NVIDIA. Also, because of it, that's where the timeouts come from both all the Chinese AI. So the one that still runs well is Qwen. So I've made some advances with Qwen. It's almost nothing from what I'm seeing. And I'm talking about the older Qwen Coder, was it Qwen Coder 3 Coder? Anyways, that seems to work well now. Surprisingly, I earlier tested a variety of AI models, including Claude and GPT. And what I did was I removed the script that I've always used to remove or to create the dynamic trading bots. I had it remove all dependencies from the creation. Yes, Qwen 3 Coder. Thank you, Mr. CNN. So I had a request for that script, that Python script that will create dynamic trading bots to remove all third-party packages when it comes to creating algorithms and formulas, and just have that script generate its own standard Python math routines. And the good thing is, I started testing this around within the last 2 hours, so it's fairly new. Out of that batch that I just first traded, Euro in the current market conditions was very, very, very profitable. I have not been able to generate a profitable bot in about 2-3 weeks. That's using the Codex, it's using the Claude, anything else. But because of this new request I put in to remove all third-party dependencies, Qwen 3 Coder is now able to generate profitable bots. Now it's early days, but I'll be testing that through the night. So that comes to the next big topic that I'm talking about. 2-3 weeks ago, I announced, a week ago, I announced that I went through all of the trading bots that I've gone through that were profitable and very profitable. I've been running them every day, 24 hours since last Wednesday. So I've been not quite a week at it, but I do know what assets are profitable. Now, these are, one is very, very profitable. That is gold. That gold strategy, it's all simulation, but it's about 500 trades plus with not one loss. It's pretty incredible. And it only runs when gold moves up. So as an example for the gold, there was no activity on the gold moving up yesterday at all. So I let the bot run overnight, which I've been doing for all 14. Some will trade through the night, my time, Eastern Standard Time, because the CME is still active on certain assets. Gold is one of them, along with the crypto. So all day, all night, there were no profits taken on gold. As of this morning, when gold had a little run up, it was profitable, did 75 simulated trades, not one loss. So the point here on this particular strategy, which is the golden goose, the golden goose that lays the golden eggs, that strategy has not had one loss, and it's been at least 500 trades since Wednesday. The other one that was quite profitable, I should say quite profitable, but has a very good win ratio. I've seen this in all of my reports from both the futures and options. I've talked about those on what institutions are doing for both Ethereum and a Bitcoin arbitrage strategy. So when Ethereum performs, and Bitcoin does not, Ethereum does very well, okay? And usually it has about a 66% win ratio on Ethereum. On the Bitcoin side, it doesn't win at all. So on the reverse, with Ethereum, when it's not producing, Bitcoins can sometimes win. Not a lot as much as Ethereum, but it can be done. So this one, along with all the other ones I'm about to mention, I have to have a script or a process that manages every one of these bots that I'll put in a live trading market, meaning with live money. It will have to watch when to trade, basically a switch, a flag, to turn on when to trade and when not to trade on the profitable bots. I'm pretty confident I'm going to let these run through the remainder of the week as a full test, just to make sure, 100% make sure. But the gold one is very encouraging to watch. So I probably am hoping next week I'll have a gold live trading strategy. The Ethereum, Bitcoin, I'm on the verge to say the same thing as well. Now, there's two other assets that are quite surprisingly good. Earlier today, oil's gone up quite a bit. Now, the particular oil strategy that I thought was profitable doesn't produce any profit, but there is a gasoline, RB, the symbol, in the futures market. RB can produce when oil, CL, is performing. It's not as much as you think it should be, but RB can perform and be profitable. We had that scenario today when oil was going up. So that's another asset to add, potentially. And as I said for the last 2 hours, with this new process I have with Quen, I am now seeing a pretty good it's set up, I think, a 75% win ratio on euro. That's early to say, but I have added that particular bot code into my profitable potential folder, and so it's a new bot I've added to those 14, and now it's 15. So by the end of the week, I'm hoping to see which ones can profit consistently, and then move them into a live trading folder project to showcase that those will win. So those are the profitable instruments that seem to work. Everything else just doesn't take. I would have said up until a few hours ago that the currencies don't work at all. But with this new development, Euro, I was surprised, was profitable. Very profitable. 75% ratio is pretty good. So let me repeat what I'm just saying here. So anybody who's joining. Gold, 100% wins. Gold, 100% wins. 500 plus. With Ethereum BTC, that strategy can do very well when Ethereum performs. Really good. On average, 66% win ratio. So I'm confident with that. The RB or gasoline can do well when oil moves up. So that's another one that I'm probably going to consider. And as I said, now this new process I'm testing out through the night, once I'm off this stream, I'm going to add, I've just added Euro, and then some other ones may pop up as well. And that's using, again, Quen3 coder, as CNN highlighted. Now, in terms of the cost of these models, Quen3 coder, I've had strong doubts for a long, long time. And sometimes it comes down to just tweaking things. Today, with what I did by again removing a third party, pretty well all dependencies on third party in Python packages, especially anything related around math or technical analysis trading, removed all those. Qwen's starting to perform, so it's like hours old. And because Quen is so cheap on the pennies, I'm very excited by that, because it's now I can maybe do a lot more with this process, and maybe run this 24 hours or just run these things more often. I don't know yet, but because Quen is so cheap, it's crazy. And here's the latest updates for those that are just joining. DeepSeek 4 currently broken. One thing I must add, people have been asking, well, what's the cost of DeepSeek 4? The cool thing about DeepSeek 4, if it fails, I don't get hit on costs. I don't get hit on charges. So I kind of like that feature. As I said, with the new ChatGPT 5.5 and the 5.5 Pro, very, very expensive. And as I said, I put up a blog post at QuantLabsNet.com on that analysis, showcasing the difference between the two. In summary, what it said about 5.5 Pro is that is more production ready. And then on the Claude, which are very pricey, Haiku's still good, but definitely the latest in Sonnet and really Opus 4.7. I hate to say it, it seems to be like a con game now, because if it errors out or the code, it's just too expensive to even work with. Compared to what I'm seeing with Quen3 coder. The code in Quen3 coder is very good now. Sometimes what can happen, and I should say this as well, I've been using Codex 5.3 lately. All this time, that was my go-to model for generating dynamic trading bots. As of today or yesterday, I don't know exactly when, the costs that used to cost me not very much, OpenAI has just surprisingly added and made those same costs go up at least 3 times. So in a nutshell, if you're trying to mimic what I'm doing or just general AI, you really got to watch your compute utilization on your AI account, because I think there's a lot of criminal things going on, which shouldn't be happening. Where your AI costs go up a lot higher without your notification, and you got to really watch it. If you don't watch it, you will lose a lot of money. I don't make the rules here. One other thing, when it comes to the billable, I was not around here running a lot of AI. I had yesterday $19 per day, which should be around $3. I did not do any significant AI generation at all, and there's just something going on at either the OpenAI level on the billing front or the Anthropic billing front. I can't explain it. It just seems to be having these mysterious charges. It kind of makes you angry in a way. But if I continue having these positive developments with Quen 3 coder, I will continue using it. Right now, I'd like to see some success with DeepSeek 4, but from what I'm seeing, potentially Quen 3, DeepSeek 4, from other articles I've read, said they're fairly as expensive as maybe a Haiku. So, and then there's a DeepSeek 4 Pro, I believe it's called, or it's not the free edition that I tried out. So it's not quite there yet. But I think with a Quen 3 coder, that may, if it continues what I'm seeing in the last few hours, that will be my go-to model because it's so cheap. And then after that, you can continue to do more things with it because it's so cheap. So that's pretty well everything I can mention here on with what's going on. Okay, I'm done for that. If you guys got comments, questions, I know I came on here kind of early, and I can gladly repeat myself at 7 o'clock as other people come in, just to bring those new people up to date. Yeah, okay, so it's almost 5 more minutes till 7 o'clock. All right, so if you guys got questions or comments, let me know. I was just itching to get on here half an hour ago, so my apologies on that. But this is really good news. If the Quen 3 coder proves itself, and I'm actually able to generate potentially profitable trading bots, and this new one that just got created, Euro. Wow, I was like really impressed with it. 75% win ratio. It's pretty good. On that as well. So if you got comments, questions, let me know. I have tried to invite, I don't know, they call them haters or whatever. Some people, one guy said I'm a scammer, and I said, well, if I'm a scammer, why am I on live on YouTube every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Scammers don't do that. So I challenge them, say, come on out, and say what you will, and I'll gladly address it live. And as you know, none of this is prepared at all. So if you got comments, questions, let me know. All right. So one other thing I discovered, courtesy of AI, I've talked about the different trading journaling software out there and different various websites. Popular one, it's called True. Oh, what's it called? True FX, I believe, and then there's TradeMetria, TraderSync, TradeZilla, those or the likes of those. I'm wanting, if once I get rolling with any live trading potential, I'm definitely going to hook those all up after about a week of live trading, knowing that I'm generating some consistent profit. But I just wanted to mention another one I discovered on Friday, courtesy of AI. There's something out there called a fund. What's it called? Fund Seeker. I put it up on my blog. It's put up by the guy that created the Market Wizards book series, Jack Schwager. He's supposedly the founder, and I believe it's been bought out. But basically what this website is quite interesting. If you are a trader and you're automated and you're willing to put your trades on it, kind of like no different than a software trading journal, and they do support TradeStation, MetaTrader, Interactive Brokers, and another broker as well. So if you are willing to put your trading account live on this service called Fund Seeker, I believe, what can happen is if you have certain metrics over a certain period of time, they may fund you. And this is institutional money. This is not anything to do with trading prop firms. This has got nothing to do with the schlocky kind of funding. This seems real as far as I can tell. And what they can do, and what they say, is that some of the institutional can put up to $100 million into a successful trading a successful trading strategy online that hits certain metrics. And in fact, what I read also is if it's successful, you can be invited into other institutional level core portfolio analysis, or not core portfolio as a new trader. That's not discovered yet. That's the whole gist of this website. And I don't know where, but I did ask the AI, what are some of the bigger account sizes of these firms? So you could get $1 billion if you get really good. Now, again, this is just reading it off of AI. But from the performance that I understood, if you have one of these strategies that does very, very well, your compensation is quite interesting. It matches the standard hedge fund, which would be a 2 and 20. So you'd be given 2% up front on the amount that's allocated to your strategy. And then out of that, you'll get 20% of the take that the strategy performs on. And then there was another option as well, what they call the modern, what they call a modern take, I guess, hedge fund take, which is 1 in 30. So if you have a successful strategy, you'll be given up front 1% versus 2% of the old. And on top of that, you get 30% of the take instead of 20%. Now, if you're very confident in the strategy and you do get invited to this kind of core strategy allocation, and you know it's a good winner, because you have to be invited, of course, and you can prove it, I would be taking the 1%, 30% at the end of the day. 1% up front, and then you get 30% versus 20%. Yeah, I'll do that all day and all night, as long as the strategy performs. And when I say strategy, it's the same thing as a trading bot. So that, and they do not take any demo accounts. It's all live. It can only be live trading. And as I said, so that means I want to be part of this. If, as I said, I have this, let's say, gold strategy I've just talked about, or this Ethereum Bitcoin strategy that I'm confident about, I will basically point, instead of pointing to Rhythmic, I will have a separate exclusive Interactive Brokers account, and I will take the same trading logic and point it to an Interactive Brokers trading account for just futures only right now. So if that's the case, that's what I'm going to do. And if I see a lot more potential here with, let's say, the Ethereum Bitcoin, then I'll allocate more money or fund either my Rhythmic account or my futures account and or my Interactive Brokers account for futures trading. The reason I'm mentioning this Interactive Brokers now is for a couple of reasons. I do want to get live trading up and running with a synchronized account, a synchronized live trading account. And if it stays profitable consistently, as I hope it will, I will put that performance and synchronize it to a service of whatever I choose, TradeZilla, TraderSync, or whatever, and make that publicly available front and center on my website at QuantLabsNet.com. If it stays profitable, I will keep feeding it and funding it more to showcase the profit potential. And if I'm able to do that, I will guarantee you right now, as long as I'm living and that continues to perform as is, you can expect all my fees to keep going up. And if it goes up, I'll probably double everything right away. So that's everything I do. So just be aware of that, because people want to see this. And I'm not going to be sitting around kind of like being challenged by whatever people on YouTube. So yeah, that's the goal. Okay. So that's where I'm trying to go with all this. Okay. I just want to be very clear on that. And I think I'm on the cusp of that with this gold strategy. I think I'm getting there. I'm pretty impressed with the Ethereum Bitcoin strategy. And have, like I said, this strategy or Python trading, a Python script that will manage all of these bots, strategies, whatever you want to call them, live and manage them when to turn them on and when to turn them off when the trading conditions are good. And this is just, again, as I said, futures only for now. So that's where we're at. So if you guys got comments, questions, let me know. I'll gladly answer them. Now let me repeat what I just said for anybody who has missed what I said when I started this half an hour early. So I'll just say this in summary. Okay, so a lot of people may be on board here for what are the profitable instruments right now that I've been testing out of the 14. Gold, 100% strategies, no losses. I've had over 500 simulated trades, not one loss. Another one that's been really profitable is Ethereum, Bitcoin. I've seen that a lot in my reports. The Ethereum does very well at 66% win ratio. Bitcoin can do okay too when it performs. Another one that's surprising, which does kind of make sense with this war going on in Iran. A good example as of today. Oil performed. Gasoline, which is the symbol RB on the CME, performed today quite nicely, about 66%. Again, and that will be under certain conditions when oil performs. Usually the byproduct of that performs is gas, which makes sense, right? The new one, which comes down to the development that I've been talking about with the AI models, using DeepSeek, removing the third-party packages. DeepSeek 3 Coder, in the last 2-3 hours, has generated one new profitable bot, which looks very exciting. 75% win ratio. I've just added to my portfolio of profitable strategies is for the euro. Okay, so that will be continuously running. So essentially, I'm going to have 3 environments. I'm going to have one environment that's just running simulated mode, looking for profitable potential strategies, and that's all it's doing. So as I said, as an example, euro is a brand spanking new one. All again for futures, all for the CME. And the second environment will be the simulated potential profitable strategies bots, and have that running all the time. And the ones out of that batch that showcase potential for profit with live money will get moved into that environment for live trading. And as I said, that will be gold and Ethereum, Bitcoin for now. And if I still see more consistent profit with the euro, I'll gladly add that too. So from a portfolio management and allocation, as I said earlier, we're using Algorithmic for futures, or just basically market data for options and futures. Much better than Interactive Brokers, and I could do live execution with that on Algorithmic through a standard futures broker, like in my case, EdgeClear. On top of that, what I may do is add in, well, I'm pretty sure I'll do this, is to have a similar setup, but for Interactive Brokers as well. And as I said earlier in past video streams, I do not have any restriction, terms of service, where I can actually talk about the API and what I'm doing. Can't do that with Algorithmic, but I can do that with Interactive Brokers. On top of that, as I said again, I'm wanting to get a trading journaling software, whatever it is, to showcase live trading with live money, and it's in real time. Not one of these you upload it every hour and stuff. And it's going to be actual track record hanging off of the trading journaling server website, so that you can actually see that it's third party and it's verified by that journaling software. So it's none of this garbage of Photoshop or having AI generate some fake return. This is going to be real. And as I said before, that's when the fees that I do and value will go up. And I've also talked about funds here. So that's the update that I can bring in summary since 7 o'clock tonight. If you got questions, comments on any of this stuff, let me know. I can definitely help you out. If you're also got other outstanding questions you want answered, let me know. I'll comment away on those as well. Also another big thing I need to mention about just how I'm looking at YouTube now. Oh, I guess LTZ hacking came out with a question. Welcome. Thanks for the being part of this. I always ask you the same question. Can you answer me like 5 years old? Do you teach algo trading, AI, quant trading from beginners like dummies who don't know how to code? Yes, I've talked about that up until a few weeks ago. I could, okay, if you go to the bottom of this stream, this link, you will find a link to what I'm going to tell you. I'm pitching here. I know I'm pitching, but I do this purposely. You will, if you click that, that will take you to hftcode.com. That's one of my new websites. There's 2 products there. If you're wanting to learn how to do algo trading with AI, the only real successful way to do it is using AI now. This is using Claude Code, very basic stuff. You need to start with a code base, okay? So if you click that link on hftcode.com, there's just demo Python scripts in there to show you how to connect into the Interactive Brokers Trader workstation in paper trading mode and be able to play around and simulate full-on trading with market data and orders. From there, because it's a workable code base, you can start playing around with the AI in Claude Code, and I'm strongly suggesting you use VS Code. VS Code, the extension for Claude Code, and play around. That's the best way to learn. And if people don't want to do that, I can't help you. I cannot go beyond helping people because the thing here is that everybody wants stuff for free, and what you get for free, you're just going to be wasting time. That's the best thing I can and can suggest for you. So focus list Y4K. IB API subscribe data, monitor orders and trades, then buy or sell. Very simple. Yes, that's what the HFT code does. Or the hftcode.com, that one thing has. It's simple, and it's for exactly people like LTZ hacking who may have zero knowledge. And that could start for free in a paper trading account. Interactive Brokers is worldwide, and it's an actual working code base, and it's got tons of PDFs that you can refer to. That's the best option I can give. So yeah, it's very simple. And where you play around with AI and you get good at it and prompting with Python, you can advance the AI prompting to go to Algorithmic or whatever platform or broker you want. It's just a starting point. So again, from the prior person said, you can also get the full depth market data from Algorithmic. Yes, you can, but this hftcode.com thing I'm referring to is for people with almost zero knowledge on what to do, because it's Interactive Brokers. Okay, I don't know how much more simple I can showcase how to do this. And this is where I started. This is where I'm so far advanced now with AI. It's the same thing. The only difference is I'm using Algorithmic, and my prompting is much, much more sophisticated, and my Python coding and techniques are much more advanced. But I started from that same point, and it seems to be pretty close to working once, if I can get live coding working. So that's the best I can do for you. So coming back to the TZ hacking, understand you, but what about the math behind it? Okay, this is the beautiful part about AI. As I said earlier, I don't know if I've discovered this thing or not, but I don't know when you joined on this live stream, but I'll just repeat this. This is kind of important. When you use AI, Claude, any of the OpenAI models, or any model really, and you just keep your prompting very simple, what will happen is, as part of the AI for the math side, it's going to download what it thinks is the best Python package to work from. So this is what prompted me to do this additional as part of the general request in my prompting. I was playing around with Haiku today, and what happened was what Anthropic or Claude does from the math side. It automatically will assume that I want to work with TA, the technical analysis or TA lib library or package in Python, and I know that library pretty good, and it has problems compiling and building, and all kinds of problems come out of that. So I know what happens there. So Claude always will assume you want to use TA lib. So I told it, and this is again by accident. This is the key point. So I knew by accident. I said, do not use TA lib as part of the prompt. Write your own routines. Write your own code for the technical analysis if you need to use technical analysis or generic math. Write your own. That's the key point. I put that as part of the prompt. And lo and behold, it was very good code. And I thought, let me try this with Qwen 3 Coder. And lo and behold, it worked. And then I thought, let me repeat the process and try to see if it can dynamically create trading bots that are profitable. As I said earlier, it worked. And this is how I got this Euro trading bot in the last 2 hours that's very profitable with a 75% win ratio. That's the key. So you just tell the prompt in the AI, write your own math. And if you want to do quant, you just add that to the prompt as well. It will do it. And you can do it in Python, C++, whatever language you want. But keep it simple, use Python. That's the best advice I can give. Do you trade by the algo or AI trading? It's all AI. And it's all driven within the prompting. Okay, if I want to do quant, I could do that. But you're just kind of complicating the coding process. At the end of the day, we're here to profit. Now, I'm not saying technical analysis works great, but you can use certain indicators that seem to work really well. Now, the quant one that seems to be the popular one is Z-score. That's the closest quant algorithm I've seen that is quant. Everything else is just EMA, RSI, Bollinger Band, believe it or not, and anything to do with volatility, it's ATR, which is, I guess, technical. I don't know, but that's some of the more popular indicators I see that the AI uses across all models. So Tazing and okay, so he's saying make a living. Okay, that's a hard one. Let me put it this way: do people make money for a living with algo trading? Exclusively doing that. The only person I know that does that in the world is Robert Carver. How do I know? Because when I was looking for the fund, Cedar Fund Seeking website I mentioned earlier, on Elite Trader, this ID talked about it. And we're going back 5-6 years. I think it was called Global Trader was his ID. That ended up being Robert Carver. And I know Robert Carver, the name. He's probably one of the only algo traders out there that are making a living in the public domain that I know of. Does Dr. Ernie Chan make a living from it? Yeah, he does. Because he's educated in all of this. There's very few people that I can sit there and say a lot of people are actually making a full-time career out of this. So I do think that there are people doing extremely well with it, especially with AI, because with AI, and I know this because I see it on LinkedIn where somebody out of China, specifically, I don't know why, but China, they're making a boatload. Now, I don't know if it's BS or not. I don't know. But I do see the potential using AI that you can make, it could change your life from an income standpoint potential. I do believe in that. But you got to be motivated and you have to have the work ethic to do it. But the key part of it is you got to be probably a pretty strong or have a strong understanding of order flow, be pretty good in coding, and more importantly, really know the trading. I think the trading experience is the most important. So yeah, you can do it. Just do you have the motivation is the question. And about 99% of the people don't. 99% of the people don't have the motivation. They just sit on the sidelines expecting everything to be handed to them. Okay. Okay, so LTZ Hacking says, I trade manually, wick off meta 1-to-1. This process slow and killing my patience. Yeah, not just that, but as I said before, I've been seeing some articles where literally millions of people, retail traders, are dropping out of the market. And that's a problem. I think it's like 3.5 million since I last saw it. As I said, if you don't have the innovation and the work ethic and the drive, I hate saying it, I'm not saying you specifically, but you'll lose faith in all of this. But you have to have a really strong work ethic and a real determination to succeed. And I do think people can succeed at it. But if you're going to just doom scroll and just, look at everything like pablum, you know what I mean? Like as if it's candy or a nice shiny toy that you chase after, you will not succeed. That's all I can tell you. But then XL1NUX said, this is it. I would prefer MT5. Yeah, I don't know if that's sarcasm or not, but you can use FunTrader will look at your MT5, but that's really, it's just retail Forex. I don't think a lot of people take you very seriously with that. XLS 10 years old, 10 years over, all in all broke. Yeah. Again, I've had some people like that, but it's kind of weird. JDI is online. Hey, how are you? For you, LNUX, I don't obviously know you, but let me just give it, I don't know why. There's two things I can give you here. And there's one from real practice. The successful people that I'm seeing, oddly, that have gone through military training, have been deployed into real military environments in the Mideast, if it's U.S. military, and they always launch very, very successful businesses, and also in trading as well, and investing. They seem to have this way that they're trained in problem solving. Okay, so that's one aspect. The second aspect is it depends upon how you think. What's your mindset? So if your mindset is about solving problems like physics, you will succeed. And that's who gets into the high-paying jobs at Renaissance Technologies, Jim Simon's firm. It's how they solve, not what they know. It's how they problem solve. That's the key. So sometimes if you have it, you have it. Sometimes you don't. But if you're willing to use AI to prompt and experiment with, you can learn from that. And I'm learning a lot from doing this over the last year and a bit. So there's that. GDI. Now I got it with stop loss and risk money management, LOL, but took me long. Yeah, I mean, that can happen, but a lot of it is also timing as well. It's very important to understand the timing and the market condition. And as I said, it's basically comes down to watching hot capital order flow. That's really what it boils down to in high volume market instruments that move. And as I said today, gas was moving because oil was moving. And gold moved early this morning for a little blip, and gold did very well. So sometimes it might not come down to just stop loss or not a stop loss, or money management versus non-management. Money management, it's to know what's moving and what is moving. That seems to be the key that I'm seeing. No problem, XLNX. True. Nice. So let's go back to, yeah, so JD asks if I've heard about the news about Manus and Meta. Yeah, I obviously I know about that, where China has kiboshed the deal with Manus. The history is that Manus came out of China, and then the founders moved to Singapore. Chinese IP, I guess, or the IP was developed in China, so maybe they have some form of control over Manus, and they just kiboshed the deal because of that, even though that they were formerly headquartered in Singapore. So when it comes to Manus, if you asked me a year ago about Manus, I'd say Manus is probably the top AI, and specifically for agents. But I do think that Manus now is so irrelevant that China kiboshing that deal might be the best thing that Meta may have, because they think that it was for 2.1 billion. Meta now saves 2.1 billion. Because when you have other AI out there like OpenAI, Anthropic, and specifically some of the other Chinese models are so advanced, and as I said earlier about Quen with all the agent functionality is built into the core model, and at almost zero cost on the pennies, Manus is it's irrelevant. And then all the super high costs that come with both OpenAI and Anthropic. Quen seems to be changing things pretty good. I thought it would be DeepSeek, but I talked about DeepSeek earlier. So, but Quen seems to be the hot thing from the cost perspective. So I'm going to be playing more and more with it. And I think if this Quen thing turns out to be what I think it is, the Western AI has got a little bit of a problem. So that's what I think. So, but I do know that Meta is pouring so much money into AI with these new models. I'm kind of lazy in trying it out with the new Meta AI app. So I'm just there's too many questions they want out of me to join it. Maybe one day I might try those newer models just to see how they are. But I can't work with them because I don't have access to an API. So, those new models from Meta may not be of any use. I do know Microsoft's trying to get in as well. They just put out for general use with the Copilot Pro, very expensive. If you look on their GitHub repositories, they're coming out with some interesting new models to catch up to the Anthropics and the OpenAIs. So you never know. Microsoft may come along and innovate finally for once. And the other thing is, I don't know if you guys heard about OpenAI today, where they didn't meet their sales targets. The market's tanked because of it. And as a result, I think that Microsoft will come along and take out OpenAI because they kind of need each other. And just yesterday, I think the last 24 hours, Microsoft formally allowed OpenAI to have their AI hosted on competing cloud services outside of Azure. So they could go to Google Cloud, AWS. Anthropic just got big investments from Google and also Amazon as well. So XL1NX, if you prompt right, you come with 2 Claude accounts, and the feel web interface of DeepSeek helped me as much. Yeah, I think Claude's still the most advanced, but I will tell you that GPT 5.5 Pro was very impressive. But it was very slow and really expensive. You could give that one a whirl, but this is kind of like OpenAI's last desperate attempts to stay relevant in the AI space, because they're getting killed. Same person, but do everything with 1 prompt a day. What you need to change per day. I think, just look at the last week, all the new models that came out, DeepSeek 4, ChatGPT 5.5. You always got to stay on top of these models and play with them and see which one works, which one's cheaper, because speed of development now is very important to me, and Quen is very quick, like the quickest. And I'm trading dynamic bots based upon news. So the faster I can get them generated in a trustworthy and flawless manner, that's an important component for me. So you always got to stay on top of it. Sure, I play like 400 days around. It's nice turning my modules. Not sure what you mean, but right now I'm up to $300 a month in AI costs. So actually more than that, about $350 a month. So I do take it seriously. But as I said, if I find the Quen coder to be really good, then yeah, I'll pare back those costs because Quen 3 coder may just be enough for what I need. And it might take me a lot to move off it because of the cost. And the quality of code looks pretty good. Wow, okay, then I got 20 a month good around. Yeah, I don't know how serious you are, but yeah, I do put about 300 a month, 300 US a month. Just seeing if there's any questions. If anybody else got any questions or comments, let me know. Yeah, so I've covered all the potentially profitable instruments to trade. I think that, like, just generally, that's what matters. Gold, wow, when that performance was like no losses, and people make it's not true. That's fine. I see what I see, and it works. But Ethereum, Bitcoin's pretty good too when it performs, especially Ethereum. And one thing I've not talked about, where a lot of my learning comes out of, is my reports that I generate as part of from the news. That is most important to me now because that's where I learn about what the big firms are doing, like the family offices, the HFT, hedge funds, boutiques, banks are doing on their trading, and why they're choosing the options to take risk. Like, for instance, agricultural, like companies like Cargill, how they do hedging, or airlines hedging against fuel costs, and they're going all the way out to December now to try to save. Well, basically, I would think over the long run to be able to stay in business is by being able to cancel to plan their hedging on jet fuel costs all the way out to December of this year. And the ones that do it right will stay in business. So that's how much of an impact all this options and futures and CME and other big exchanges matter, where a lot of the airlines will be very, very dependent on if they stay in business or not based upon how they hedge their jet fuel costs. It's going to be critical for a lot of them. So that is what matters. And there's going to be, I'm sure there'll be, if these oil costs, jet fuel costs continue to move up, I think, jet fuel costs will remain high, super high, have an impact on them, because I think one of the other big reasons that the markets dropped today was because oil was impacting travel demand. People are not going to pay airline tickets that are just doubled in the last 2 months. They just won't, and that's going to impact their industry. So, and then that generally impacts everything else from shipping costs, fertilizer costs. I'm sure you all read the news. So, it's a big deal, and options and futures is what's going to help keep a lot of these businesses alive. How they hedge, and arbitrage, and what risks they take. And if they do it incorrectly, they'll become the weak players and may, as I said, go out of business, or will get consolidated, merged, or taken over. We are upon that, I think. Any other questions or comments? As I said, I keep asking. You guys are more than welcome. It's why I do these streams. So if you got questions or comments, let me know. JD, if you got anything else. So as I said, in the current space right now, I am focusing on the Quen 3 coder and trying to find new profitable trading bot strategies. And I just add them to the profile, and then I put them through a hazing period like I've done for almost the last week, and know which ones are profitable and which ones are not, and which ones prove to be profitable. then I will put them into another, call it folder or bucket, and those will be traded with live money. Everybody's been asking about that, so we'll see where that goes. Anybody else got any questions or comments? See how long I've been going. So right now it's 7:30. I started the stream at 6:30, so I've been already 1 hour. If you have missed anything of what I stated earlier, let me know. Be glad to go over it. But the gold strategy looks like to be a big winner. I think if and when I can start trading and adding in options, as I've said before, that's a very, very, very expensive venture. And that's if things get really good, I may be able to naturally leverage a trading opportunity by using options, because as I said, about 80% of the big firms, institutions, 80% of their trading is with options. I should say options on futures. Okay, I'm making sure that we understand that, not options on individual stocks. Options on futures, commodities, and currencies, treasury, metals, crypto, agricultural product, and the like. So anybody else got any questions or comments? So if I'm able to add in options, I think I'll need to build up a big enough account for that and be able to do it with confidence. I'm probably looking at least, at minimum, 25, maybe 50,000 to successfully do it. With full contract sizes, I don't know if I ever get to this level, but it'd be nice. I would say 100, 150,000, where I could trade futures and options with real full contracts. So right now, when I move everything into live trading, it'll be right now just micros, but the trading logic and the trading rules, the core of it should stay the same. Okay. You guys got questions? We were up to quite a bit, and then we're dropping back down to the number of viewers online. So that's what I was saying. Those that scroll, maybe sit around for a minute, they move on, and those same people are not sticking around, and those are the ones that don't succeed in trading for the long game. Those that have still been on the stream for a while and take action, you've got a good shot of succeeding and being motivated. As I say, Rome was not built in a day, right? And it takes a lot of work and a lot of grit to be successful in this game of trading. I do think we will come upon a time where financially a lot of people will be hurting, and I've already checked the job creation, job stats. Usually when there's a decline in jobs, sharp decline, usually that bounces back really fast. I'm not seeing that. It's been down for quite a while, a good couple of months, and usually you start to see it to tick back up. In this case, I'm not seeing it, and the job losses are accelerating, and those same jobs or whatever jobs are not coming back. It's more competitive. More jobs that are in, let's say, the West. The legacy jobs that we're used to have now been outsourced completely to to other countries, namely in Asia. So those jobs are not coming back, and a lot of corporations are doing this even when they're profitable. So those jobs are not coming back. So if you're anticipating to get another job or your house or whatever to come back, I don't know about that. I really don't. So that comes back to, where do you go to recoup those losses of income? The only two areas I could see is either working in trades, but then everybody will be doing that, and you'll be going into a race to the bottom. So it's really not much of an option. The only option I also see for people to generate income is via either online opportunities like e-commerce or trading. Those are the only ones I see. And when I look back, for a lot of younger folks, this is going to be their first real career recession, and they don't know what to do. Unfortunately, they think that that life will get better at some point. It may not. And during the great financial crisis of 2008 and 9, a lot of coding jobs, the pay scales dropped a lot, let alone if there was any jobs. A lot of people were working minimum wage. Recruiters and employers were really exploiting that because of the competition. And I just, with AI now and behind that's the robots, I just don't know. So as I said, the only things that I see are trading for income, stability, along with entrepreneurial, be it, I don't know, in person, but definitely e-commerce or online of something. And people are not having the same income anymore. And when you look at the housing market's not really recovering in any way. And where I'm living in Ontario, Canada, they're giving tax benefits for people buying a new home. They save $50,000 in tax, property tax. And as a result, the housing market bounces back, but it's not bouncing back because of the right reasons, because it's an improving economy. It's because of some set of crumbs that the government's thrown out to enable people to buy property where your tax will be lower. So as a result, it's really not a fundamental shift for an improving market. And then when you factor in what's going on with Iran, factor in what's going on with energy costs and potential inflation down the line, I don't know what will happen. But from a survival standpoint, as I said, e-commerce and running your own business is the only way. I see so many videos of people not able to find sustainable work and income. And I don't know if you know, but Microsoft and Meta are going to lay off 10% of their staffing. And that's after the amount of thousands of people they already laid off. So they're going to kill off another 10% of their staffing. Some will say it's the economy. I personally say it's AI. I've worked enough with AI where it's advanced. I haven't done any encoding in months. And with Quen, I may not need to do any form of coding anymore as well. But I do think you need to have strong fundamental skills from a software architecture standpoint to be able to know what's really going on when it comes to the vibe coding aspect of things. Some say vibe coding's dead. I don't know about that. I think it's just going to get a new name. But that's going to be a thing, and that's going to be a thing to stay. But those that do vibe coding, unless they're willing to pay for AI and have something like an Opus 4.6 or an Opus 4.7 do their debugging, it may save the day, but in the long run, it may not save the day, because always remember, every time you make a change to a application, it could impact other code and snowball into other bugs. So you get caught up in this circle of doom of debugging bugs, or debugging, period. Okay, so any other questions or comments as well? Any comments, questions? I don't know who's still online that's been asking questions before. Hey, I have no problem ending this early. Been online hour and a quarter of the stream, which is standard. I know I started early, trying to be fair to people that are just joining, that usually join. If there are comments, questions about that, let me know of what was mentioned earlier. And if you got anything new, let me know. General comments I'll definitely take. The people making negative comments obviously have not shown up. I expect that. Generally, they're just cowards. Keyboard warriors, as they call them. And waiting on that as well. So if you've got comments or questions, let me know. If not, I'll just do it going once, twice, 3 times. And I'll probably continue the conversation if I get into a live trading mode next week and talk about that, hopefully. But everything's looking up and up with gold and Ethereum, Bitcoin, call it ratio strategy, or crypto. Because generally, as I said, everything's volume based. So the big crypto that's active is Ethereum and Bitcoin. I don't see as much XRP or Solana as I used to. I guess it's really volume. And I personally think when it comes to the crypto side of things, that we're used to the heydays of crypto, I think it's kind of dropping off. I've seen some other AI evolve into other existence. And the other thing is when it comes to the mining companies and Bitcoin, a lot of them are turning into general AI companies as well. So yeah, the big shift there because the interest in, specifically in Bitcoin has shifted. And I'm only saying this for short purposes if this comes out. Bitcoin is going through a major shift. I'm not saying Bitcoin is a legitimate asset or is not, but a lot of institutions use it as something like gold, but it just depends again on their timing and the market condition. There's always comparison of gold and other real world fiat currencies, namely euro and Japanese yen. I'm seeing still obviously euro dollar. So as I said before, I'm only looking at anything listed on the CME among the different exchanges that are affiliated with the CME. And the way I'm going, I may add in other subscriptions as well of ICE, LME, and the like. So I'll be adding more than just CME. Okay, anybody got any questions or comments? Let me know. No. I could keep gabbing, but I don't come on here to gab. I come here to answer questions for people. If you got a question or comment, let me know. I'll wait. So how's the weather where you're living? We're warming up now. We are warming up here in Toronto, Canada. So anybody got questions or comments? Anybody? I'm just looking at my stream on another device here to see how it's doing. And here. Who's got a question or comment? Let me know. I have a funny feeling the good old YouTube ain't helping me here. Yeah. So if you got questions or comments, let me know. If not, I'll just end it early. Let's do the countdown. Okay, so I'll do it going once, twice, 3 times. Just type up whatever. We've had the occasional person to save the day to extend it for another hour in the past. Let's hope that happens this time around. So let's do it going once, going twice, going 3 times. Sorry, folks. Anyways, thanks for coming out. For those that are watching, appreciate it. We'll leave it at that. And actually, we just got a few more people jump in. If you got a question or comment, let me know. I'm hoping anybody that has it to extend this live stream. I like to answer questions for people. Obviously, there's a delay. Otherwise, I'll repeat my countdown and we'll end it. It's counting now. Interesting. I guess when you tell YouTube you're threatening to end the stream, more people come in. Hey, that's fascinating. Anybody got questions or comments on the topic I'm doing? If not, this they will render and will end up in my live tab on the channel if you want to watch this again. And yeah, nothing gets deleted off my channel. Okay, let's do it going once, twice, 3 times again. Going once. Going twice. Going 3 times. Okay, we'll end it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, wherever you are, whatever you do. Got comments? Let me know throughout the channel. Oh, one last thing I forgot to mention. With YouTube now, I'm only focusing on what drives activity on my channel. That means that I'm not going to just talk about whatever and just throw it up on YouTube anymore, because I want to grow it now. So I have to give what YouTube wants and what the YouTube audience that come in want. I mean, that makes sense. So as a result, if you want to get all my content, I can host my own videos on my website at quantlabsnet.com. If you want that, email and get on the email list. Also, yeah, so I'll be sending out all my videos via email. So the YouTube channel won't get everything anymore on what I do. So just to let you know, it'll either be put up on another platform as a result. So just letting you know. So I'll do if you got questions or comments, let me know. Okay, serious. We'll do it one more time. Countdown. Going once. Going twice. Going 3 times. So as I said, get on my email list at quantlabsnet.com. Also, we're pushing out the Discord server as well. Are up to 330, 40 people. Decent little number on our Discord. I'll put all that in the description as well for the Discord as well. Okay, so you can join there too. Other than that, thanks for watching. Have a good day wherever you are, and we shall hopefully talk to you soon next week. Over now. Bye-bye.